video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I'm KJ Wright from the Seattle Seahawks, and you are watching NorbFam.
What's happening, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you on this Blue Friday, talking about the look back at the Buffalo Bills beatdown that the Seahawks took last Sunday, and looking ahead to the Seahawks-Rams game, a very crucial game when you look at the schedule. An NFC West first game against the Rams, and the way that the division is going right now, this kind of determines a lot. We could potentially end up in first place if we could somehow find a way to win this game, and potentially last place if we end up losing. And then we have the bye, and then the 49ers are waiting in the wings. So this game is really crucial. So looking forward to having you join us for the next hour or so as we talk about the game, the past, the look ahead, as well as some breakdowns of crucial plays of what we witnessed all on Sunday. So again, this video brought to you by the good folks over at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. I'm going to look at the odds as well, and as we get into predicting our scores at the end of the show. All right, let's do this. Let's meet the Hawks Real Talk panel. Right here joining is Abel Pasley, who's been the newest member this year. Abel, it's good to have you on board, man.
Yep, glad to be here.
Glad to have you. And of course, Sky-High Aviation, Jose, been collabing for the last 4+ years. Sky-High from his school over in North Dakota. Sky-High wearing the throwbacks. I like it, man. How you doing?
Better. Good. Ask me.
Everybody's energy, I don't know, feels a little bit low. Maybe it's because we were all, ate too much Halloween candy last night, or if it's just the feeling it is right now as Seahawks fans. Not in a great spot, but, it just takes 1 week to turn things around. So, we'll see how this goes. But let's just jump right into it so we can be as efficient as possible here. But let's start with you, Abel. Give me kind of your elevator pitch on what you saw on Sunday against the Bills.
Yeah, I kind of expected something like along like that happening. I knew that we were going to face a juggernaut of a team in the Bills. We all know that they're trying to contend for a Super Bowl this year. And they're in the running for that. They're seriously on track to really make a big impact on the AFC and the NFL. And I think the game was just sloppy. I think we had opportunities that we didn't capitalize on. I think the score doesn't explain how close that game could have been. And, yeah, just mistakes happened. A lot of mistakes happened, and it was not, our cleanest game.
Agreed. It was a weird game because there was a lot that happened that felt like you said, in that first half, the second quarter in particular, we had a chance to change the tone of that game, to even take the lead if we could have just taken advantage of the fact that we had the ball twice in the red zone at the 2-yard line. And we all saw what happened. It was just disaster twice, and we're lucky we even got 3 points out of that one. We could have had 0 points, but still, we should have had 14, and we came away with 3. And then the end of the first half, I'm sure we'll recap this, but it was. I think the biggest concern about this game for me was just how I knew the Bills were going to come in, be a tough team. And I knew the Seahawks would probably struggle and that we need to have breaks in order to have any kind of a chance, which they did get some breaks. Got the interception, the first one of Josh Allen in 2024. Thought that might set up a touchdown. Didn't. And the worst part about it, though, is just watching the loss of composure on the field. The fighting. We all saw the fighting between Jaron Reed and Derek Hall. And Gino getting an unsportsmanlike and out his frustration. It was just a bad look. So it's not only were we missing opportunities, making big mistakes, but then the lack of composure and just losing our cool. All that kind of just amounted to a very ugly 31-10 game when that game could have really been so different. So, but in the end, if you look at the numbers, it was just bad. I'm looking at it down the line. They dominated pretty much every category: first downs, plays, yardage, time of possession. The only thing that they didn't do better than us was, I think, penalties. I think they actually had 3 more yards of penalties than us. And so outside of that, they dominated pretty much every category, from run, time possession, passing. I mean, it's hard to win a game when you have those numbers. But again, it could have been different because sometimes the little turnover here and there could change it, but we didn't take advantage. Got a super chat in here from Old Boot of Wisdom. DK is out again. Yes, I just saw the injury report. DK again with that MCL sprain in the knee is out again. And we're also missing, let's see, we had 3 guys who were missing in this game. Noah Fant is not going to be playing either, as well as Cam Young and, of course, Abe Lucas, who's practicing now, but probably will not come back until the 49er game after the bye. The good news is we did get a different Fant. We lost Noah, but we got George. George Fant looks like he's probably going to play at right tackle for the first time since that opening game against the Broncos. So we did get something back. We lost 3, gained 1. So will that be how much difference that'll make? I don't know. We'll see. But Sky-High, how about you? What was your just overall take of what you saw on Sunday?
It was, brutal from a Seahawks from a fan perspective. We've seen a lot of bad losses. I don't think this is up there. You got to search back to where we've had a really bad home loss like this. Sometimes we go out on the road and just play like absolute garbage. But I could sit here and talk for hours on end what we did wrong, and it was. It was, you guys mentioned it was undisciplined. We were undisciplined. It looked like we just couldn't give a shit to go out and play. So excuse my language, but there was no effort put forward at all by this team. And I think this trickles down from not just the players, because the execution and the discipline and being able to play a sound game, it wasn't just the players, because it was eventually to the point where I got tired of running shotgun formation plays with our receivers spread out across the field and Geno getting absolutely hammered every single play by the Bills' defensive line, because our offense was incredibly predictable that entire game. I mean, I could tell you based on the formation what play we're going to run, what we were going to do. Tom Brady, for those guys that were at the game or haven't watched the game from the broadcast, he said he was very confused as to what we were doing offensively. He says that first of all, for Geno haters, he said Geno is a franchise quarterback. Take that. But he said from a perspective, he said he thought Seattle would have come out trying to run the ball. We didn't try that. I think our defense did better. Our defense did better than our offense in this game, and I think the defense had their moments where they were, where they found comfort. But at the same time, it just felt like we kept putting them back out there to dry. Our offense just got nothing going. It was a brutal display. Ryan Grubb looked. I mean, he looked as much as we love to praise him, and as much as we've hyped him up, he just looked terrible out there. There were no adjustments, missed tackles. It was honestly just the worst game of football that I've watched this season, and it was out of any NFL team, to be honest. It was just brutal, not fun, and honestly, I hope Mike takes control. And one thing that I think to point out is he said we have to kind of cut our losses here, is what he said throughout the week. He said we kind of got to cut it and deal with the fact that if we can't run the ball, we can't run the ball. That's kind of the fact that they're kind of giving up on it, saying, hey, it is what it is. We got to cut our losses and deal with it, and that's also somewhat of a concerning sign. And I think he needs to take a bit of a stronger stronghold than what we're kind of getting at right now with him.
Yeah, I think he referred to as sunk costs in the press conference, called it sunk costs, which to me, like you said, that sounds like saying, well, there's just certain things we're just not going to be able to do. So we're going to just write that off, which is concerning because clearly the running game has not been working, and we've when we said, well, K9 only got the ball a handful of times in the previous game, so they just give it to a bunch of times and he gets 1.5 yards per carry. Well, that's not going to work. You can't just go for, well, let's just keep running into a brick wall and hopefully it gets better. Obviously, they need to run it, but run it well, and that just has not been happening. And to add to you on the Geno front, yeah, this was not Geno's best game. He had that penalty, which was difficult to see, and I know his body language was. I didn't really see the broadcast. I just watched from what I saw in my seat in the stadium. You don't see all the subtleties, but he did have that one drive that was really good. I mean, it was like 7 for 7 or 7 for 8, 8 or 9 or something like that. But I mean, it was just like first down after first down after first down. It was looking like a beautiful thing, and right up until the point where we snapped the ball over our head, it was looking like a touchdown drive to get us back in the game, and things kind of just never quite got back on track after that. So there were a few moments, but too many bad ones to outweigh the good ones. So, well, you ready to just jump into these? No wonder you're wiped out. You just pull up a bunch of plays from a game that was completely horrifying. You looked wiped out and tired just probably looking at these low lights. I don't know if you can find any highlights, but let's see what you got. You ready to jump into them?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We'll go ahead and jump into them.
So this is the part of the Hawks Real Talk where we talk real stuff, watching the reels, watching the video clips and breaking things down. So Sky-High has picked a few plays. We haven't discussed them, but he's going to break them down and give us his take on what he saw, and we'll comment as well.
So yeah, this is I'll go ahead and start here. Make sure my little yay. Oh, we have our pen. This is the first play of the game. This is the very first play of the game, and I see that we come out in this I formation here, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, good heavens, Ryan Grubb is going to do an amazing job. We're going to run on the weak side of the defense behind our 2 tight ends and our best pass block and our best offensive linemen. Oh, this is going to be great. We've got the defense shifted to this side. We don't even have DK Metcalf on the field, and we were able to get them over there. Never mind. I was wrong. Lockett came in motion here, right? He comes in motion. And we saw this a lot actually with Waldron when he was our offensive coordinator. Fant comes across. It's actually a play fake. Screw that. We don't run the ball for some reason. We try to establish a play action right out of the gate on the strong side of the defense. And by strong side, I mean when you look at the center here, the defense only has 5 guys on this side, which means that the strong side is going to be this side because they've got 6. So they have the defense. We have the strong side of the defense on the far side of the field, and we're going from this. If you tell me to diagnose the play, I'm going to tell you it's a run. It's a run to the left. That's initially what my intention is. In fact, it's actually not a run to the left. It's a play action where Lockett's going to come over here. Brown's not even going to block. He's going to come across. JSN's going to kind of sit down here. K9's just going to sell the fake. And really the intended target is Noah Fant, who's going to sit right here, and Geno's going to have the naked bootleg. So we'll go ahead and watch this here real quick. And he sits in motion, snap, play fake, stop. We're going to stop this right now. If they hand this off to Walker, right? If they hand this off to Walker and Fant stays home, right, and he occurs for one of these guys, and so does Farrell Brown, and our offensive line actually runs a proper attack running block scheme, this could be big. But instead, I'm focusing too much on the fact that we didn't run the ball. And in reality, I should be focusing on the fact that Geno's got a guy 5 yards away from him, and all his receivers have their back turned to him. We're throwing a pass play. We're throwing a developing time pass play. This is a play that's going to take more than 2.5 seconds, right? With what Geno has to throw in the pocket. You see, guys, Smith-Njigba is going to come sit down here, like I said. Lockett's going to come either across or sit down, based on what the cornerback does here, and Farrell Brown's going to come across, and Fant's going to come underneath. I can tell you, right, Norb, do you think this is going to work? Look, tell me where on earth would this work? Where in this scenario would this work? Because if I get rid of the ink here, we've got a guy here, we've got a guy here, We got him. He can break right across. We got the safety who can crash down here. DeMar Hamlin can crash down here, and he can come down through here. Tell me where this works.
It's not going to, and it didn't.
It did.
Sometimes this play works if that end who you got the cursor on right there buys the fake and crashes hard, and Gino's wide open, got nobody on him as he sprints right, then he's got options. But when the guy is not sold on the fake and he comes like I think he's going to, Gino's in trouble.
Well, guess what? I wouldn't be sold on the fake either because we never run play action. So we never run play action like this. So, it's something that you can take right out of the film book and say, all right, I'm just going to get in his face and he'll throw it in, and the pass will be inaccurate. Boom. There it is. Maybe he had a split second. But again, I mean, from the basis of let's run the ball, look at that. You have the advantage on this left side. Why not use your formation? Why not be formational here and take advantage of that? No. Play action. He doesn't bite the fake. 54 does a good job getting back to him because Fan actually sits down to get for that pass, and it's incomplete. Boom. There's play 1. Let's go ahead and jump to play 2 because it doesn't get better. I'm telling you right now. There are a few positive plays, which is good. We'll look at that, but it doesn't get better. This, I think, if you were a Seahawks guy on Twitter, you may have seen this play. This is a third down. I believe the line to gain is like the 39-yard line, would be my guess. I believe it's the 39-yard line. Again, this is another similar formation we saw with Shane Waldron. We've diagnosed similar plays like this. The Bills showing blitz. They've got a stunt prepared here with their linebackers. In all possibilities, if they do bring the blitz package, Seattle's either going to have to get the ball out really quickly, or you're going to have to keep Charbonnet and Fant in the backfield, in which case you've got 3 wide receivers working on 5 defenders. Sure. And what ends up happening is we end up, I believe, first of all, the routes are all curls / sit downs. So ideally, the guy to throw it to is either Lockett or JSN, usually because they're stacked up upon each other here, usually cause confusion between the defense. Bills show blitz. They even bring almost a guy out from the corner here, putting that trust in the safety. We're audibling. They fall back. They instead rush 5. We call back to protect Gino. And, I mean, you can stop it right here. JSN's open for a split second, right? But it gets tipped. And he didn't even throw it to Jason. He threw it to Tyler Lockett. So I mean, I don't understand why we're 3rd down and 8. Maybe this is something where we could run maybe one of those inside the hash screens. Is something I'd be okay with. Maybe something where we get defenders out, where we can create separation. Not really where we're, okay, let's sit down in the middle of the field where everybody is and hope that the defender doesn't undercut and get the ball picked off. It didn't matter because the ball's tipped, and who knows, maybe Lockett would have come up with that catch, but it's tipped, incomplete. And I could tell we didn't run any of those first 3 plays. I could tell that there possibly might be some problems today with the offense. So there you go. We'll eat that again, punt it away, play 3.
Yeah, it was a pretty uninspiring first drive right off the bat. I was like, oh my goodness, is that what we got? Whew. Not very creative on the routes either.
Not very creative, but you're working with what you can, and I think Grubb kind of took the loss of Metcalf a little too seriously in the sense that we kind of needed to really limit what we were going to get in terms of passing down the field and using complex and intricate patterns. I don't think that's how it works. I think Lockett and JSN should have seen the ball a lot more. I think Bobo maybe should have had at least 1 or 2 chances at a go ball. It's missed opportunities. It's missed taking advantage of. Here we are in the nickel again. I really don't remember what happened this play. But again, a very typical Seattle look with Mike McDonald, the 2 high safeties, the 2 linebackers, and then our nickel cornerback. And of course, I believe Trey Brown was active, but he didn't start. Jackson Jobe was the guy today. He had a few flash in the pan moments. I think there's obviously, for a guy who's getting thrusted into the position that he is in, I think there's things to work on for him. But obviously, I think there's room for improvement with him, like I just said. But I think he can be an asset moving forward. Take the snap. Bada bing. Oh, this is a good play. All right, never mind. We'll back this up. All right, I want you to keep an eye, because this was something, again, when we talked about missed opportunities and we talked about, just being unfortunate, we talked about the points left on the board by the 2 4th-down conversions. Imagine if we could have gotten points from this play. Boye Mafe. This is just incredible working on the right tackle here. Just watch.
That's where he knocked the ball out.
Bag tags Allen. And watch here. You see how his angle is a lot different, more different than Jaron Reed, Leonard Williams, and Draymond Jones. Murphy's going to try and get around to this outside, and it's fantastic because, again, I say it every time, the lower man always wins in football, and we're going to see the perfect shout out from Kabul. Wow, we've got fans in Afghanistan.
I know. That's all across awesome. The other side of the globe. Yeah, welcome to the show.
That is awesome. Big swim move. Lower man wins every single time. And lower man will always win in football. Impressive technique. Boye Mafe continues to have a stellar season, in my opinion.
How lucky were the Bills, man? That's twice they put the ball on the ground, and both times the fumbles were picked up by the Bills. We got the one interception, but we had 2 chances to get that ball in Bills territory. Couldn't get it.
Missed opportunities. Good. I mean, it's good awareness by the guard, or I believe that's the guard, or the center, whoever. Well, one of the offensive linemen. They all look the same. It was really good awareness there to pick that ball up. But again, even better play by Boye Mafe. This was the Bills' opening drive where they kind of were just going 5 yards and then 5 yards back, 5 yards forward, 5 yards back. And we were kind of just like, hey, guys, let's put them away. They're making mistakes. Stop giving up big plays. So, yeah.
While you're getting the next play set up, what was your guys' overall take on Ernest Jones, since he only had a few days with the team? I thought I actually did pretty good. We're just kind of thrown out there just to kind of go for it. I thought I actually had some pretty nice plays. I think he'll be good for us given time. What do you think, Abel?
Yeah, no, I think it was a good first appearance, and I'm excited. I think I saw a lot of potential. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to him longer term. I think this guy could be good for the future, not just this year. All right, what have we got here? Sky-High.
This is one of the more unique looks that we're going to actually see from Mike McDonald this entire season. And I was really impressed with this play. And we're going to see here again, this is the Sky's. If you look at it from the top view down, you're going to say to yourself, this is man. We've got a blitz. We've got a stunt coming up. Ernest Jones is here. Mafe's here. Leonard Williams is split almost all the way out to Tariq Woolen, who's all the way out there. This is unique. This is something that we've seen with the Baltimore Ravens. Joby's on an island with Cooper, and what this is going to do is this is again, we talked about how we've been going through a rough patch. We're 1-4 in our last 5 games, but this is part of the genius of Mike McDonald. This is how this is part of the things that he's doing right at the same time, and we're going to bring a blitz, which is going to allow these wide receivers on this 3rd and 5 situation. 3rd and medium situation, right? We've got the hashes here to essentially work on the slant. And I say it enough in a group chat that I'm in. We need to run more man as a squad. We have 2 of the best man-to-man cornerbacks in football, in Devon Witherspoon and Reek Woolen. I think we just really need to put a lot more faith in our cornerbacks, let them build that confidence. And if we pay for it, we pay for it, but know that we're making those plays. Those guys have the ability to keep up with anybody. Reek Woolen has had an incredible year so far. Devon Witherspoon, a little bit of a slump, but he's still a force to be reckoned with on this defense. And we're going to see here how this stunt affects it. Immediately, I'm going to pause it right here. They're trying to drag across here. And really, essentially, it's 3rd and 5. You want to open it up here, right there, because the blitzer comes down, right? The blitz comes down, which essentially frees this space right here for the ball to be thrown, essentially to have a free gap. And Job gets beat. He gets beat initially off the play. And I don't know if this was the rain coming down or something like that, but he recovers perfectly by, essentially making that contact, staying in contact with the wide receiver, jamming him almost a bit. And at that point, when Allen fires the ball, he has the route undercut. He has the route undercut completely, perfectly, and all you got to do is let it hit you in the chest and secure it, and boom, intercepted right there. And I thought right then and there that was a house call. Guys, Leonard Williams was laying people out. So was Witherspoon. I thought that was a house call. I thought, oh wow, the momentum shifted. 7-3 ball game. We're going to get right back in front, and then the whole 4th down debacle happened. But
yeah, sadly, we would not score off of that interception. Unbelievably, that's why I was really hoping he'd take it to the house, because I didn't want to have to see another failure at the 2-yard line or 3-yard line. And that's exactly what we did.
Joe. Yeah, great play by Job. This is something that shows up in the film room. This is something that, when you're in man, you have to be aggressive. You have to take chances, and he does right there, and that's good. That's what you like to see, especially, if I'm Carl Scott, I forget who's also the secondary coach. Impressive. This is impressive. This is stuff that's going to show up in the playroom. Despite some of the mistakes that he may have made earlier in the way, this is also stuff that you're going to get praised for, especially when you're learning and you have when you're learning and you're a young guy in this league. So yes, impressive.
Yeah,
I think the rain was a factor, because it started to come down pretty good when the Bills had the ball there in the second quarter, and again, didn't take advantage of the time when the weather was hurting them.
Yeah, a lot of times this year we've seen kind of next man up, right? And I think it's good to know that we have guys that can go out there and show up when they need to without much, warm up.
We've had to do that in multiple positions, especially at corner, given all the injuries we've had. All right, what's he got? Oh no, not this play. Oh no, this isn't the play.
No, I'm not including that play. I'm not including that play. There's nothing schematically to talk about this.
Is this after the interception?
Yeah. This is a jumbo package here. We bring in Olatunji and gosh, I'm gonna sound like a Nobel laureate. I think we should fake it. I think if I were the play designer, we should fake the handoff to the fullback and flip it out to Walker, who will get a one-on-one matchup. But hey, who am I? Just a lonely YouTuber. This is
for the record. I don't like when we line up on short distances. I don't like this formation. I feel like it's so clearly what we're going to do, and we've been stuffed many times out of this look. I don't know. That's just me. I'm kind of with you.
My question is why we bring the extra offensive lineman here and line him up out over as an extra tackle. I mean, he's kind of out of the play, especially when your lead fullback doesn't know how to pick up a block. Because his assignment is going to be the linebacker here, which essentially is going to allow Ken Walker to essentially score. If I draw everybody's assignment and everybody does everything right.
Yeah, the numbers should favor us.
The numbers should favor us. He should be shifted over here. You get him. Essentially, there should be one unblocked guy over here, including him. And that would allow the numbers to essentially favor us in this zone run. And here we go. We'll see it, right? I want you to keep an eye on 38. Keep an eye on 38 and also our interior lineman. No chance. And this led to 4th down. Absolutely no chance. And you'll see, we'll get a better look here. Stop. We talk about the ability to read natural gaps, right? There's one right here through the C, and then there's one out here between these two tight ends. And already, what's going to need to happen is that already Buffalo has two guys lined up. Buffalo already has a safety and a linebacker lined up here. What's going to need to happen is he's going to need to plug the gap, and he's going to need to shoot this gap in order for Ken to go through here, through the C gap. What doesn't happen is that Farrell Brown releases from his block. And the linebacker essentially is just like, screw it. If I'm not going to get him, I'm just going to create a wall, build the wall, and not allow Ken Walker to do anything. And because Farrell Brown releases his block and completely misses, and because cross falls over, which causes the fullback to miss, it allows 50 to come completely unblocked off Farrell Brown, right? And if he holds his block,
it's probably a touchdown.
It's probably a touchdown because it's one-on-one, right? He's already 2 yards deep into the end zone. Ken Walker's going to have the forward momentum like crazy.
I take the bet. K9 1-on-1, going full head of steam against 39 in that gap, that he'll probably win that battle. But he's not winning the battle 2-on-1 with a pile of bodies in the way.
It is what it is, right?
Good.
Stop. And this was her running game today. We couldn't run for crap. I mean, that was it. I mean, that we couldn't do anything. It was unbearable. It was unacceptable. You can't have that's such piss poor execution, and that's stuff that shows up in the film room, and it's inexplicable. Like you just look at it and you're like, why are we doing this? Like, why is this happening? We go over this in practice. We install it. How is this happening right now? So it's unacceptable.
Yeah, I think so many times this year, for some reason, I felt like on these short gains, when we do have that jumbo package on the inside run, it just feels like there's so kind of little room for error. Like we'll see also a lot. K9, when he gets the edge, he can do so much with that space, and he can actually turn it into something. So like you said, I, in that situation, would have rather seen K9 on a one-on-one on the outside than having to rely on these blocking assignments that we, at this point, we can't confidently know that our O-line can execute those. So it's just bad. Part of me wants to say it's a good scheme and then not executed well, but at the same time, you kind of have to know your players and have faith in what they do right and what they do wrong.
I agree. Norb, you're muted.
If you don't have the best scheme, you can have the best scheme in the world, but if you don't have the talent, or maybe they have the talent, they're just not executing it, because that looked like an execution issue, like Farrell Brown going off his block too soon. It's like he went to go take on the next level, but he didn't take care of the first level. So like if he holds that a little bit longer, again, maybe that's trying to do too much. He saw that guy and just thought, I need to take that guy, and not the job I was supposed to do. That's what happens when you start struggling. You do things you're not supposed to do instead of doing the stuff you're supposed to. So discipline, all that stuff. So I don't know, frustrating. Let's go to the next clip here.
Yeah, sure. I don't know why I threw a Christmas tree. I was bored.
We're getting close to it now that Halloween's gone.
Yeah, I know. Thank goodness. We've got here, oh my goodness, third quarter, trying to think of situation. If I tune back my memory to the game. Yeah, this third quarter, I think that's the first play of our drive in the third quarter. Get another spread formation. Let's bring everybody out. Not keep any extra protectors. We talked about how Geno only has 2.6 seconds to throw. Well, this is going to be a 2.6 second play. And see here, Bills possibly show blitz. They don't. Bring it out. Oh, everybody's just going to sit down, right? Well, Geno makes a wrong. His initial read is actually Lockett. But Lockett's smothered. You can't throw this ball. Bobo's wide open. The correct read is Bobo. He's wide open. Part of that problem is also because Laken Tomlinson just absolutely forces Geno to get a man of his face. So if he looks this way, odds are he's going down here, and he's gonna get sacked. So K9's also open, but sure, let's throw it into the middle of the defense. And again, part of the reason that he only has 2.6 seconds to throw is he only has a chance to make 1 or 2 reads. It almost gets picked off, and Gino's on his ass again. So
that should have been a pick. That should have been a pick 6, by the way. If he'd actually catch that ball.
We'll get a much better look here. Laken Tomlinson, he just gets beat. Gino ends up on the ground. What's new? Lockett's like, come on, man. Why'd you throw the ball to me? You really should. But he's not in a position either to throw the ball to the right side. His first read is that way, and he switches his eyes between Fant and Lockett. And again, this is something where I'd rather see an underneath pass, something mesh concept, not just, all right, everybody sit, hook again, curl again. But that one was on Gino, and the offensive line, again, can't hold up when.
So now we're starting to just see the O-line changing the game drastically because of these plays. That changes a lot of complexity of that whole drive, I assume. Because that could have been a large gain with Bobo. Who knows? He could have even broke a tackle, got, 10, 15 extra yards on the rack. But we just see, the O-line botching a perfectly good play. And it's like, you can't always blame Gino for the bad decision. Like on the TV, you would kind of just see, oh, why did he throw it there? Incomplete pass. He had guys wide open. And like you point out, Tomlinson just pushes it. He adds pressure from Gino. His job is supposed to make it so he gets the least pressure possible on Gino, and then he just added to it. So that's just not good execution. That just ruins a play.
Interesting comment from ZJ says, did you guys see the videos of what appears to be Ryan Grubb getting frustrated at Gino, changing the plan from what is called when Gino gets up to the line? Thoughts?
No. I think they would have shown us that if that was the case.
Every QB is going to make an audible at some point. And if the OC is mad at too many audibles, that happens often. So I don't
plus the way they're running the offense right now, they go no huddle.
Yeah.
And they look to the sideline for the play. So it doesn't feel like they had a play and then he's checking out of it. I don't remember on that particular one. But, it's hard to know, right? We don't know what's actually being called on there, whether he's changing it and not following the plan or if he's just doing his own thing. But not knowing fact on that, I'm not going to assume that to be the case. Gino's not good enough to audible. Come on now. Come on.
Every NFL QB is good enough to audible. They made it to the
The blame game is riding high here. All right, let's keep going because we got to get to talking about the Rams game here shortly. So, all right, what we got here? More bad news?
More bad news. That is correct. More bad news. Well, you know what? I talked about how there was zero consistency. We just ran everything out of the shotgun. It makes you super predictable. The Bills ran a lot out of the shotgun. They ran an even amount of under center plays. Well, guess what? It made them unpredictable. We look into a look where we have one high safety and bring everybody down thinking, hey, we're going to have a run play. You can look at it and see that they have they're in 11 personnel. They have a copious amount of people, or 12 personnel, excuse me. They have an extra offensive lineman in down on this play. Everything, all signs point to run. Wow, this is how an offense should be run, right? You keep the defense on their toes, which we weren't able to do. That happens. We split back out into the zones, right? Cover 4 almost.
Somebody looks like they're going to be wide open down the seam.
One high deep safety. Spoiler alert: Ernest Jones looks back and sees, oh shit, he's wide open, and it didn't work.
Ernest Jones, well, he had some good plays, as I mentioned earlier. He had a couple of plays where
that's not his fault. That's not
his responsibility. But
we got completely fooled on that play. And Kobe can't just sit. He sits in the middle of the field, but he also has to have better vision to see those guys breaking down the sideline because he's late and far. He's late and way up on the field over higher at a higher plane than he is, and we'll pull it back.
You can kind of see better from that angle that Josh Allen does a little look. It does a look. Looks left just to give, I think, probably frees up the safety for a second because He's thinking, well, I might have to go over that side. So that's a nice subtle move by Allen to, keep his eyes, freeze the safety with his eyes and his body language.
Yep. Well, that's that. We'll go to the next play here.
I remember that play. Oh man, one of many. Like, oh god. But this all came after those missed opportunities to score at the goal line.
Correct. Let me see what this play is. Yeah. Oh yeah. And to cap it off, this will be our last play of the night. Cap it off. Let's leave our offensive line on an island again. No extra pass blockers. All wide receivers. And Charbonnet is just going to kind of... Here we go. Ready? Watch the light side of the line. Buffalo overloads. We blitz 4. Jarrell just like, you can go. Oh, okay. Never mind. Free blitzer. Charbonnet checks out of his route. Chips 1. We can't chip enough. Anthony Bradford's like, oops, I didn't block anybody, so I might as well just turn around and go back. Same with Jarrell.
No, that was horrible.
And, if Gino has time, we've got...
There's options everywhere. Well,
there's options here. Maybe JSN keeps running. Bobo breaks down here. That allows space for that. No, instead Gino's all over the place. He's got to run up here. Guys are chasing after guys. Jarrell's overwhelmed. He can only do so much. But at the least, he could buy a little bit more time by holding this edge rusher, in which he just gets beat completely.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to see the O-line just selling plays.
Yeah, like 2.5 seconds. That was one. He had 1 second.
There's the way that you do to fix this. You add more blockers. You sacrifice this by throwing shorter passes. You sacrifice for this by getting more combo routes. Maybe you run a trips concept. Maybe you run something that moves players over the field. Not guys where we're just run 15 yards and sit down and then wait for the ball to come to you. Can't do that with an offensive line that can't protect Gino.
I know we didn't have DK this game, but we have the receivers that have great abilities to run routes. And, like you said, I think the play calling from Grubb needs to be changed because I think he's not adjusting to where the team is at in specific games. And you just got to look at the film and go the O-line isn't going to help us with these plays. The O-line is not going to work for these plays. So we got to change our scheme. We got to maybe add some tight ends to the mix to block. Barner has a big body to block with. And, you got to adjust at this point. Because the O-line itself is not going to help us win games. It's going to help us lose them. So
I think what's driving me crazy is how much people just still blame Gino. It's like they just see the end. Oh, it's Gino's fault. It's like, are you watching this? Are you seeing what's happening here? You don't see Josh Allen, running for his life after 1 second because the offensive line is a revolving door.
Goff either. That's part of the reason the lines are so good. Jared Goff can have all the time in the pocket and make those decisions rational because people say, "Oh, Gino's decision making is terrible." Well, you don't really. If you don't have time to read 2 routes, then you can't make a correct decision. So, that's my take.
Yeah, well, and there's a good question here. I don't know if we can go into much detail, but ZJ asks another question about strength and conditioning staff. Are the injuries that we are having?
Oh God! Don't even get me started.
Sky-High, off the record, we had quite a conversation about this. But short answer to that is yes. I think they need to take a long, close look at the staff that is in charge of that department. Would you say, Sky-High?
I get we have tough practices and whatnot, but I mean, it's been the same thing for the past since Pete was here. I mean, it's been the same thing since 2015, as far as I can remember, where we would just have injuries, and stupid injuries too, and we can just never catch a break. We can't ever stay healthy for one season. I guess it's just VMAC is cursed 3 tight end packages. You mean like 13 personnel? Yeah. 11 personnel is something I'd like to see, maybe even when running the ball. But no, we don't run a West Coast offense. We run pro spread. Stupid.
What about the plays? He does have the time, but still throws the ball to the defenders like the first drive versus San Francisco.
Well, he had a guy in his face there.
Yeah, guy in his face.
Yeah. It wasn't a clean pocket. You gotta look at that. Just because
when we were down by 7, but then that was also kind of DK's fault on the route. So.
Yep. You had to look at the big picture for sure. All right, time is starting to run out here. We're getting close to the last 13, 15 minutes of the show, so we got to talk a little bit about the Rams and get our score predictions in here. So let's pivot away from this Bills game, and now let's talk. We'll get in the score predictions in a second. Let's just do an overall take of what we're facing with the Rams coming into town and what we got to do. Abel, let's start with you.
Yep. Well, we saw last week with the Rams and Minnesota, and we saw a lot of things. We saw that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are legit wide receivers, and we have cornerbacks that can go up with them. I think, like we were talking about earlier, we know we have 2 of the best cornerbacks that can do man-on-man coverage, and we got to trust that, right? And I think pass rush. We saw the Seahawks not get Josh Allen a lot last week. And we saw we're consistently seeing this season that pass rush helps us win games. We saw it versus Atlanta for sure. Pass rush is what got us that win for the most part. And we see it with a lot of other games. So you got to get to the QB and you got to limit their weapons, right? And then on offense, maybe adjust with the O-line. We know the O-line can't execute some schemes, some plays, some formations. So maybe we adjust to that and, we take advantage of our receivers' abilities. We know Lockett can run a route. We know JSN can run a route. And we know we can throw up DK Metcalf a fade. And
DK's out.
DK's out? Well,
DK's out, yeah.
You have Bobo. Bobo can
Noah Fant is out as well.
Yeah, Noah Fant, we haven't seen him crazy this year, though. But I guess what I'm trying to say is you got to take advantage of our receivers' abilities, and you got to take advantage of our playmakers on defense and offense.
All right. Sky-High, you want to give a take what you expect to see or what we need to do in this game?
I expect to see. I see Gino's a Jimmy Garoppolo type player. Jimmy Garoppolo played in the Super Bowl. A little foreshadowing. He's good enough to play in the Super Bowl. Is he saying Gino's good enough to play in the Super Bowl? I think.
Good way to connect the dots.
I think honestly, I don't have much confidence going into this game. Our team doesn't have much confidence, I can guess, either. We're trying to stay sharp. We're trying to stay focused. We need to stay focused. We have to stay sharp. We have to be disciplined. We can't make mistakes. We can't be stupid on the field, right? I'm okay with seeing scrums and all that and whatnot. We're used to it. I know a lot of youngins might be like, oh, what the heck is this? This is terrible for our culture. No. I mean, if you best believe it, Doug Baldwin, Richard Sherman would fight all the time. Michael Bennett used to fight everybody. Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor used to fight each other. Earl Thomas picked fights with people all the time. That's nothing new from seasoned Seattle fans. But offensively, we have to come out and establish the run game. We are not going to. We learned today we are not going to get anywhere against a good defense by just throwing the ball, especially when you're missing your number one target and sitting in shotgun formation all day, because the Rams will see this and they will completely adapt to it, and it will become the most easy to read offense in the entire National Football League. We have to establish the run. We have to use more 12, 11, 13 personnel in the running game. We have to get Ken Walker on the outside. We have to use a better zone run scheme. We have to give Gino more time by keeping more tight ends to block. And if that means that we throw shorter passes, so be it. But that's going to open up play action. That's going to open up routes over the middle. And that'll open up for success. As for the defense, The defense has to say also, again, like I said, at discipline, I'd like to see more man concepts. I'd like to see more creative blitzing. I'd like to see us get to the quarterback a lot when Stafford is flushed, when he's under pressure. There's a tendency to possibly make some mistakes, but he can also he also is an excellent quarterback when thriving under pressure. So, and we just have to play and stick to our game and stick to our game plan and adapt. I like how the coaches are taking somewhat of accountability, knowing that there's issues and knowing that there's mistakes, but we have to, at some point, accountability only gets you so far, and you have to put results on the field, and I expect that to happen this weekend.
Interceptions aren't the only stat for cornerbacks.
It's not very often. It's not very often you hear Sky-High Aviation just down on the Hawks. Sky-High is like the ultimate like Tasmanian devil of energy, and I'm so not used to seeing you so mellow.
Well, maybe I'm changing my tune just so that way we can start winning again, and then maybe I'll
whatever works. Well, for me. Yeah, this game concerns me a lot because it sucks that we didn't get to play the Rams when they were down. Obviously, when they were missing both their key offensive weapons and had injuries on the offensive line, they weren't very good. They started out 1-4, but now they've kind of started turning things around, and they beat the undefeated Vikings last Thursday, and looking pretty good. Stafford had only like a couple touchdowns the entire season, and all of a sudden he lost 4 in one game. Just kind of shows how much that those weapons make a big difference, which just contrasted the fact that we don't have our best weapon. And for those of you who say we should trade DK because he's a problem, that's almost as frustrating as people who blame everything on Geno. We're seeing what a DK Metcalf absence does, not just for what he does when the ball's thrown to him, but what he does dictating coverage and opening up for other people. So we don't have that. We don't have Noah Fant either, as I said earlier. So the one good thing, as I mentioned, we do have George Fant coming back. So hopefully we'll have a less of a swinging, a traffic cone edge rusher coming in without any kind of resistance with our second string tackle coming in. I think for us, we've got to our offensive line, barring George Fant just being awesome, it's not like they're going to suddenly get better overnight. They are kind of what they are, so they got to scheme around that. I agree with what Sky-High said. I think we got a quick up-tempo, speed up the passing game a little bit. If that means shorter routes, crossing routes, mesh concepts. I'll take a 5-yard pass with a 3-yard after the catch any day than an incomplete pass, a batted pass, or an incomplete or an interception. We got to improve our odds when we just don't have the time to run. Ryan Grubb's got to know he does not have the UW offensive line anymore, so he can't run those UW offensive plays that took so much time to develop. And defense, what can you say? They've got to do better. They've got to stay disciplined, stay in your gaps, do your job, not try to do somebody else's. And tackling. Somebody mentioned that the Seahawks don't have any enforcers. Well, last year the enforcer was kind of Devin Witherspoon, and this year he's kind of been off. He's had a lot of missed tackles. He's not playing the way he did. He's kind of had his own sophomore slump this year, and he needs to get it together and do a better job of tackling because those missed tackles are killing us. In both the run game and in the pass game. When we get a chance to take a guy down, you got to take him down. So, and I think we just got to be opportunistic. Obviously, if we can get pressure on the quarterback, try to get home, and if the ball hits the ground, we got to get on it. Because again, I think we're going to need a little help. We're going to need some little random act of luck to come our way, much like in the Falcons game. We had a few turnovers that came our way, and that kind of sealed the deal for us. But going into that game, it sure didn't look good. The way things had been playing out, and the way kind of like how it is today, the way it's playing out right now, feels a lot like it did going into the Atlanta game. So we're going to talk about our score predictions here next. But before we do so, I do want to give a quick shout out to the good folks over at BetUS. Let me see where
we're not going to be able to see our previous score predictions because.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm just going to go to the odds real quick.
Wait, hold up. Go back. Click the back arrow real quick twice.
You're talking well, yeah, you could. BetUS, you can do more than sports. You could do even They even have odds on the election. Are you kidding? You can bet on anything these days. So yes, you have. You can even bet on the election, believe it or not. All right, but we're only talking about football here, and so if you wanted to see, well, what do we got going on here in week 9? Let's go to the Seahawks game because that is what we were talking about. If you haven't signed up already, you can go to BetUS, and if you put in that code YouTube 150, you'll get 150%. Deposit or 150% match on your first deposit and 125% match on your next two up to $2,000. So we go to the game, we scroll down, you find our game here, and it puts us right there. LA Rams at the Seahawks. Rams, they opened at -1. They're still -1. So Rams are 1-point favorites in this game. Over-under is 48 points. So if you are thinking, no, I think the Seahawks are going to pull the upset here, you would just click on that right there. You go over here, put up the amount of money you want to wager, and it'll tell you how much you'd win. It's that easy, and place your bet. Now, of course, you got to make sure online gambling is legal in your area, void where prohibited, and please gamble responsibly. All right, that all being said, let's go to our score predictions. And before we get the score predictions for the Rams game, let's go back and see our score predictions for last week's game against the Bills. Here we go.
It'll be hard to keep up with the Bills. Josh Allen's going to sling it. Everything is going wrong for the Seahawks. I hate to say it. It's gut-wrenching. But I do have the Bills winning 31-17.
Nick's on vacation. There he is.
On vacation, but Nick's enthusiasm is not. He says the Seahawks win 31-27. I don't know if we have the ability to repel that kind of firepower. It's going to be a battle of attrition, but I feel like unless we can get those sneaky good opportunities and some turnovers, I feel like the ball just may not bounce enough ways. My score prediction is the Bills 29, Seahawks 24.
We're going to win this game. I'm telling you right now. Eno Smith will lead us on a drive with 1 minute and 22 seconds left. DK Metcalf game-winning touchdown. And we're going to win this game, baby. Let's go. Seahawks win 27-23. And we go do 5-3, baby.
Oh, boy.
There we go. The score predictions are never fail to entertain because, well, you're just entertaining, Sky-High. So, all right, let's do it again. Score predictions. You guys can put your score predictions in the chat. See what you guys think. But let's go to Abel and see what you got for the Seahawks-Rams games this Sunday.
It's very unfortunate how accurate my prediction was. Only 7 points off. Not to brag. But, yeah, I think it'll be a great game. This is going to be a heavyweight battle. Two teams that are just trying to fight back this season, stay gritty, try and get on top of the NFC West, tough division. And, yeah, it'll be a good one. I think it'll be an offensive shootout yet again. But I don't think the Rams are going to be able to keep up with us. I think Tyler Lockett is going to have a huge game with DK out with 2 touchdowns. And JSN, nonetheless, will have 120 yards. So I do have the Seattle Seahawks winning 27-24 over the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow, look at that. A little bit of optimism here in this game. All right, I like it. We'll take note of that. And let's go, Nick. Nick LaBow is not here. He's on vacation again, but he did, as usual, provide a score prediction.
Dropping on the prediction. So, yeah. There he is. Seahawks win.
Nick LaBeau says Seahawks win 31-17. There he goes. Never picking against the Seahawks. Always the optimist. A 2-touchdown win. My goodness. Would that shake up the odds? All right. Well, I guess that takes it back to me. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet again. As negative as everything has been this past week, it has been a bummer week for sports in general. For the Seahawks, for my girls' volleyball team, they went winless the entire last week and this week, which marked the end of high school volleyball as we know it in our family. Monday night was the senior night. Didn't go out with a victory. So we have not won any contest where I've been rooting for a team in like over a week and a half. And we need that to end. And I think the Seahawks, believe it or not, I think they're going to do it. Against all odds, with everything seemingly going wrong, meltdowns everywhere, DK out, Noah Fant out. But I feel like the Rams are going to start thinking a little too much of themselves, having come off that big win against the Vikings. They're going to come in here thinking, we own the Seahawks. We're going to dominate these guys. We can't lose against Seattle, because they swept us last year. They always give us trouble. But I think this time it goes the other way. We get a couple of those breaks that we need, and this time, instead of coughing it up and blowing it at the 2-yard line, we punch in those opportunities that we get, those little fortunate picks and the fumbles that we get. We get some pressure on the quarterback. We find a way. We're not going to be great on the run, but we're going to be okay. Like you said, I think Lockett gets some catches this time. We find JSN is going to be productive. Gino will have a little bit more time because George Fant is in there. So instead of 2.3 or 2.4 seconds, you'll have 2.9 seconds. And that's just enough to hit those targets down the field. Jason Myers is spot on with his field goals. Michael Dixon kicks the heck out of the ball. And with a little bit of luck, we pull it off. So I predict that the Seahawks will beat the Los Angeles Rams 26-24.
Wow.
Let's go. Go Hawks.
Let's go, baby. All right, so you know what that means. We got one more left, and that means Mr. Excitement himself, who has not been Mr. Excitement today. Sky-High Aviation, your prediction in this game.
My prediction in this game, I'm going to do a normal prediction today in hopes that this team can turn it around, and maybe we'll get back to the exciting, entertaining predictions. But, yeah, I liked what you guys said. In order to beat the Rams, we're going to have to run. We're going to have to be either really discipline and execute in our zone defense, or run a lot of man. But I don't think there's going to be anyone that is going to stop the Seahawks from winning on Sunday. As you know, I never pick against the Seahawks because I'm an actual fan, unlike those scrubs that sell their season tickets to visitors down in the away end zone. I think we're going to win this game. I think it's going to be a bit of a low-scoring game. These guys predicted a shootout. I think it's going to be the other way. I'd go a 20-17 victory for the Hawks by way of a possible late Jason Myers with field goal, possibly, and maybe a defensive stand. In the end, it'll be one of those clench your stomach, clench your cheeks type game, and we're gonna pull it out, and we're gonna get above 500 and enjoy this bye week, because then it gets real after that. So Seahawks win, baby.
Let's go.
All right. There we go. Optimism abounds. No picking against the Seahawks, despite possibly being at the lowest low of coming off of a horrid loss. Again, you guys got your score prediction. Let's see. We got a whole bunch of them in here. 31-30.
Holy moly, guys. 30. I don't know if we're going to score that many points, but okay.
Yeah, I know. It's 24-21.
I like we have an offense that can't do anything, and then we're missing DK, so...
Yeah, I know.
And
well, there's a bunch.
Atlanta.
Is it bad I keep selling my tickets? Yes, go to the games, please. Please.
If you're selling your tickets to Seattle fans, that's okay. But if you're selling them to away fans, it's not helping, dude. Come on.
You usually can't tell if you're selling it.
That's the problem. And I did a whole video. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out my other video that I did earlier today on Facebook and on YouTube here. I did a 30-minute rant talking about what happened to the 12s? What happened to our home field advantage? I break it down quite a bit with a lot of reference to the Hawk Blogger article that he just posted. That's very good breakdown statistically and analysis about what has happened to our home field advantage. But that's at the core of the problem. Yeah, it's really good. So yes, take a look at that and see what you think. I do offer some solutions. There are solutions to be had, but it's going to take some major changes, not by just fans, but organizationally as well. All right, well, that is it. I think we all got to run. We all got places we got to run to. So sorry, Tyler. I don't think we're going to have a post stream chit chat this time. But somebody asked about BetUS. Is it legal in Washington? It is legal on casino tribal grounds, but you cannot use BetUS if in Washington from the comfort of your own home. Those are gambling laws. So again, you have to check the laws in your own state. They vary from state to state. Some are totally legal, some not legal, and some have a hybrid like what we got. So check your local listings. Again, this video brought to you by the good folks over at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. So we'll see what happens. Seahawks, Rams. Jose, thank you for being on here, Sky Aviation. Abel Pasley, appreciate you, brother. And to all of you, this is NorbCam. we'll see what happens on Sunday. You can always check out my live stream. I will be live streaming, as always, from inside the stadium to see the reactions of this game as it unfolds. But we're signing off here one more time. Let's hit that intro. Let's go.
Get that win.
Go Hawks. We out of here. Good night, everybody.